Chapter 14. Final Destination. Part 4 of 4. A loud scream pierced the air, startling every pony. 1 second they were enjoying the light show, the next, some pony started screaming their head off. It didn't take long for them to find the perpetrator in Atlas, who stood in the middle. "Father!" Celestia called out, not daring to move from her position, lest she mess something up. Similar cries could be heard from Luna and Discord, while the others just wore worried expressions. Atlas just stood there, screaming as if in incredible pain, yet not moving a single inch from where he stood. Slowly but surely, a change could be observed, manifesting itself as a glow surrounding his form. Shortly afterwards the cracking of bones could be heard, each one accompanied by a change in pitch from Atlas' scream. Before their very eyes, Atlas began to grow bigger. Atlas had always been a slightly bigger than average pony, and when he returned a few weeks ago, he had grown even bigger than they remembered him to be. But now he was threatening to overtake Celestia in size as his form began to expand. Throughout the transformation, the unsettling screaming never stopped, conveying just how much pain he must be enduring, yet, there he stood, unmoving. Atlas continued to grow until he was just about half a head bigger than Celestia, and to the relief of every pony present, the cracking of bones stopped along with his growth. The screaming died down as well, and was replaced with heavy panting from Atlas. Luna wanted to rush out and check on her father, but seeing as he still kept the spell going through all of this, she bit her lip and stayed where she was. Slowly, the mana flow between them fizzled out, as they all threatened to run out of mana. Just as Celestia was about to ask if they had succeeded, the beam connecting Atlas to the moon tripled in size, blinding her and every pony else. Atlas started screaming again, although this time it sounded determined, rather than pained. They watched in awe at the display of power put before them, as Atlas continued to weave his spell. After about 2 more minutes, a bright flash colored the entire world purple, causing every pony to look up. "The array is powered up," Luna muttered, recognizing the telltale signs of a sufficiently supplied rune array. With a last grunt of effort, Atlas finished his spell, a big ball of magic detaching from his horn and racing up towards the moon at an unbelievable speed. It disappeared into the moon, and then, everything turned silent. Atlas panted heavily, collapsing to the floor. His eyes lost their magical glow and returned to their usual, cold silver. With the last of his strength, he rolled over on his back, wanting to witness the results in action. "Father," Luna asked tentatively, still remaining glued to her spot. "Have you succeeded?" Atlas didn't say anything and simply pointed a hoof skywards with a smile. Wanting him to elaborate, Luna wanted to ask again, but was interrupted by a loud crack akin to glass shattering that caused her to throw her hooves over her ears and wince in pain. Every pony else had a similar reaction, before looking skyward once again. Far, far up above them a giant crack was hanging in the sky. They didn't have much time to wonder at the seemingly impossible and out-of-place curiosity, as soon after, another crack appeared in the sky. Accompanied by the sound of glass being obliterated, the cracks spider-webbed across the entirety of the sky, before it all collapsed. Thousands of undefinable shapes and forms exploded outwards and away from them, disappearing into the afternoon sky, never to be seen again. It was successful, right?" Celestia asked tentatively, still looking up. "I think so," Luna replied, looking for any leftover runes in the sky, or anything out of the ordinary. Not able to find anything, she looked back down to Atlas in order to confirm. "Father, is this what you wanted to?" Pfft, she barely stifled a laugh when she looked at Atlas lying on the ground. Oh my," Celestia added, she herself being struck with the odd sight of her father. "What?" Atlas asked, gathering his strength and getting into a sitting position. "You might have some, additional things to worry about," Discord pointed at Atlas's side, barely containing his laughter. "What do you mean?" Atlas asked tiredly, looking towards where Discord was pointing. His eyes remained glued to his side as he regarded the new body he found himself in. Not only had he grown substantially, but a pair of grey wings decorated his new form as well. After checking if he still had his horn, the only logical conclusion was that he had ascended, not only into a god, but also an alicorn. Fuck. Asterisk. Zeus' face lit up with happiness as he felt his finger make contact with the prison and immediately gave the mental command to start the process of transferring and fusing Atlas's soul. His joy only lasted for a split second, though, as halfway through giving the command a foot slammed into his hand from above, almost crushing it under its force. No touching, Hades seethed. We still have unconcluded business. Zeus grimaced as the pain emanating from his hand got worse when Hades started twisting his foot on it. Seeing as his other hand was still free, he went for the cheeky option, and stretched out his other hand, hoping that Hades wouldn't stomp on it as well. He had just begun moving it, when a crack appeared on the prison before him. No, Zeus breathed as fear started to set in, accompanied by a cruel sense of déjà vu. More and more cracks appeared on the surface, threatening to break it all apart. No, 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 no. Zeus's hand shot forward, giving up on trying to be even remotely sneaky about his attempt, but just before he touched the glass, it shattered into 1,000 pieces, causing his hand to not only reach into emptiness, the shards also managed to cut up his hand. Give it up, Hades smirked. Atlas was successful and I won't let you run away again. We've won, whether you like it or not. Ha, Zeus stared at a glass shard that was embedded in the back of his hand, starting to laugh like a maniac. That was your plan? Instead of breaking it yourself, you made Atlas break it from the inside? Just because you wanted to spare one soul, you risked everything. We're not the same as you, Hades spat. Atlas hasn't done any wrong and didn't deserve anything you did to him. At least, this way he'll get another chance at a quiet life, like he always wished to have. You're all fools, Zeus laughed. Don't you see the mistake you've made? I knew Hyas was on your side, but I didn't think him to be this dumb. What do you mean? Hades asked suspiciously. I'm sure you know that the prison chained Atlas's soul to its walls, securing him tight so that he couldn't leave, Zeus giggled, his hair fraying at the ends. I'm sure he had to use massive amounts of his world's mana to achieve his little stunt, and now that he broke it, his soul became untethered. What does that have to do with anything? Hades paled. Don't you get it? Zeus laughed. Atlas's soul is like a ship in a storm that lost its anchor. The violent waves he released will pull and tear at him until he can't take the strain anymore. If he can't stabilize himself, he will be torn apart and perish. Zeus began cackling madly, calling Hades and his posse all kinds of names, which was promptly stopped by a swift kick to the head. Hades mulled over the words of his mortal enemy, trying to gauge whether to believe them or not. His eyes came to rest on the glass splitters littering the floor as he pondered the possibilities. The rest is up to you, Hades mumbled, seeing even if Zeus was right, there was nothing they could do to help Atlas now. I hope you pull through this. Asterisk. Congratulations on becoming the first male alicorn, Celestia chuckled, coming to a stop next to her father. After Atlas had confirmed that the spell had worked, a huge cheer ran through the crowd, slightly maddened by the fact that all of the ponies present were exhausted. They slowly shuffled off the array, towards the food and drink that was prepared beforehand in order for them to regain their strength as fast as possible. The core members of the spell had decided to investigate Atlas instead. Well, I don't think I ever consented to being one, Atlas grumbled, pawing at his right wing with his hoof. Welcome to the club, all of the present alicorns said simultaneously. Very funny, Atlas grumbled. This is gonna take some getting used to. Atlas's left wing suddenly extended, accidentally smacking Twilight across the face. With her already being weakened, it was enough to send her tumbling to the ground. Oops, incredibly sorry about that, Atlas apologized as he tried to get his wing under control. Don't worry about it, Twilight said weakly. I had the same problem when I ascended. Besides, the floor is really cool. Her statement was soon followed by soft snoring, which caused the others to chuckle. So we've truly succeeded, did we? Luna asked again, just to make sure. This isn't some sort of dream or something. I feel like you would be the first one to know if this was a dream, Atlas commented. And yes, the spell succeeded. We're in the clear. That is great news, Celestia breathed a sigh of relief. So what now? I'll probably take 1,000-year vacation, Atlas grumbled. I'm sick of runes. I hope you stick around a bit this time, Celestia scoffed. Now that we finally have you back, I'm not too sure we can just let you go. And give up on free lodging and food provided by my daughters. Atlas chuckled. Yeah, not happening. I'm stuck to you for a while, whether you like it or not. Luna squeaked when she heard the good news and pulled Atlas into a hug. Just as she was about to go into a tirade of all the cool things they could do together, a massive burp interrupted them. A few raised eyebrows found their way towards Discord, who was the source of the disturbance. Terribly sorry about that, Discord said, pounding on his chest a few times. Not sure what came over me there. Discord seemed uncomfortable, as was blatantly obvious by his facial expression. His body seemed to contort at specific places, reminding Atlas of having a leg cramp or similar. After a few seconds his belly extended in ways bellies shouldn't, albeit it wasn't too weird, considering whose belly it was. The weird phenomenon was shortly followed by another belch. Ugh, what is going on right now? Discord asked confused. You mean that's not just you being, well, you? Luna asked, slightly disgusted. No, something weird is happening, and I'm not sure what it is, Discord said, watching as other parts of his body started to deform and contort in ways that they shouldn't. His worried eyes found Atlas's, who looked equally as worried. I don't feel so good. And then Discord exploded. Author's note. Hoo boy, if this isn't one long-ass chapter, I don't know what is. Yes, I no longer chapters exist. This is it, we've done it, we've finally arrived at the climax of this whole story. The big bad has been defeated and Atlas is free. But, oh my, what is happening to our dear friend Discord? I'm relatively certain that some of you will be unhappy with Atlas's change into an alicorn and will want to contest the decision. Be assured that this crowd would include me and Atlas, as alicornox are not the greatest thing in the world. Yet, I feel it justified in several ways. One could argue that being a now fully fledged god with domain would warrant the change, but there's another glaring reason why he changed. If you remember, in my universe, a pony ascends once they find and rise up to their fate in every way imaginable, and cutie marks provide a hint towards what that may be. Now that Atlas is quite literally shouldering the whole realm, he has officially met all the conditions. In last chapter's author's note, I was of the opinion that the shadowy figure was obvious enough to figure out, turns out I was wrong. While all of you made some very interesting guesses, no one got it right. I felt that, seeing as Hermes was the only other character on Zeus's side which appeared somewhat regularly, you'd have been able to guess. You know, aside from the fact that he is prime betrayal trope material. Hermes was the cloaked spy that reported to Hades as well, if you remember that part. Next chapter will be the epilogue, so we can finish up the story nicely. It will answer a few questions, resolve 2 to 3 of the hints that have been dropped during the story's course, and set up a thing or two. What these setups lead to, I'll reveal in the epilogue. Just let it be said, although the Divine series is about to conclude, this isn't the last you've seen of Atlas. There's still more of this world to explore, please look forward to it. Once again, thanks to my editor ScudaloFTW, as well as my proofreader Soren Mercer. Today's chapter was brought to you by this song. Come join us in the Discord channel. Lonk. Or the official Divine Entertainment Group. Divine Universe. End author's note. End chapter 14. Final destination.